Okay, so hi there, nice to meet you. I'm Meng Yi, SuperMap GIS training engineer. GIS, excuse me. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Meng Yi, GIS education engineer from SuperMap, and I believe most of you have registered for the 20th SuperMap GIS contest. And as the submission deadline is approaching, so today here we are going to give you some instruction and recommendations on how to improve your work and to make a great submission in the end. So please try your best in the summertime and grasp the chance to win a reward. And now let's get started. So the first thing you need to remember is that our last day of your work submission is September 20th. And that means from today on, you would have about 50 days to complete your work. And so usually for this time period, you should have come up with a topic and a thoughtful design of your project and collected some data for that. And now you should have been working on data processing and analysis. And if you lag behind, hurry up and make a plan and strictly follow it. And so here we would give you I would give you some introduction and recommendations on how to prepare and improve your work. So the first thing is about our general requirements for each of the group in this contest, like what are the skills we are looking for each of the group, and what are our requirements for the submission. And then I would give you some recommendation on how to impress our judges and improve your work. And in the third part, we would see some excellent work from previous contests and hope you can learn from them and get some inspiration on how to plan your own project. And finally, here are some resources, including resources for the contest, including the software access license, some open source data, and more online learning resources. And so now let's first look at our general requirements for each of the group. As you have known, here are 4 groups in total for SuperMap GIS contest, and usually most of the participants will take part in these 2 groups, that is mapping group and application analysis group. And here are the skills and requirements for them. So mapping group, so the requirements for mapping group is quite simple. You only need to create a series of beautiful semantic maps to demonstrate your concerns and interests. We have no limitations on the topics so that you can design your own project and make your own map. And the skills for this group is quite simple as well. You only need to collect the data by yourself and conduct some necessary data processing steps, and then to make a beautiful map. So here, what we're looking for mapping group is to use map to demonstrate your ideas or your concerns, or to use map to tell stories, whatever you want to do with the map, as long as your map is beautiful, concise, and visually appealing. And as you are in mapping group, you only need to present as the topics you concern. You don't have to solve any questions or find any solutions. But if you are really interested in finding solutions, then we would recommend you to move to application analysis group. So in this group, you need to discover some problems or questions in actual life or GIS industry applications, and then conduct the analysis by yourself and design some solutions and draw some conclusions as well. So here we have more requirements. So here we're looking for more skills in application analysis group. You need to design projects by yourself. And besides data processing, you also need to conduct spatial analysis and data mining. And finally, to present the judges your final result and conclusions, you have to visualize your data and present it to the judges in varied ways, like you can present them in maps, and also you can design some diagrams for them. Either way is okay, and the best way is to have a combination of diagrams and maps. And then if you are really familiar with GIS and also want to challenge yourself with programming or academic research, then we would recommend you to take part in development group and paper group. In development group, you need to design and develop a GIS application system to solve problems in actual life, or to use that application you created in some real life situations. And so here, not only do you have to design your project, but also you have to realize it all by coding. And you can use here, coding means you can use JavaScript to develop a web-based application, or you can use Python or anything, etc. And also, as you are designing a system, as here you are designing a GIS application system, the system should also have a very user-friendly interface. So here we also require skills of UI design. If you are not familiar with of UI design, we would recommend you to find a teammate, and so that to combine the skills of both of you to finally present a great GIS application. And then if you are a senior student or graduate student and you have conducted your own academic research project, then you may consider take part in our paper group. And in paper group, you need to compose a paper based on your academic research. And what you need to remember is that you need to complete the GIS work involved in your research using SuperMap GIS projects. And taking part in paper group not only asks you have a full understanding of GIS concepts and methodology, but you should be really experienced with academic research and knowing how to write a proper academic paper. And that's all about the general introduction for each of the group. And we don't have limitations on which group you are taking in. And also there's no limitations on the topics. You only need to decide all of them based on your own knowledge, interests, and skills. And sometimes you may find that, oh, I'm just one person and I can't get all of the knowledge or skills. But it's okay, because we encourage you to take part in our contest as a team. And so from previous work, we find out that usually the submission presented by a team is more complicated, is more complete, and we really like them. So here, if you choose to work as a team, you can have 1 to 4 students, team members, and you can have up to 2 instructors. It's okay if you don't have instructors, but really we would recommend you to have one, so that they can give you more advices on how to improve your work. And so here, for teamwork, the most important thing is about cooperation. Here, the cooperation means you can have discussions in your team so that you can combine the ideas from all of the members and finally to come up with the best solutions or the most creative ideas for your project. And also, finally, you can combine the skills from each of the team members so that you can present a final great work to us. And as we're talking about present the work to the judges, so here we would give you some requirements, some general requirements on your submission. So first, your work should be original and you should include proper citation of your data source. And also, your work should compile with the open source rules as well. But that's only the most general requirements. And if you really want to win the reward, the first thing and the most important thing you need to remember is always this one. Remember to submit a complete work of your project. And here we will have a further explanation on what is a complete submission. So here, if you go to the official website of SuperMap GIS contest, and then you can find that for each of the group, we have a submission list. And inside that list, you should know what you have to include in your submission and how you should, and what folder structures you should, and how you should organize them following our folder structures. And so here, you really need to remember that everything included in that submission list is important for our final evaluation. And among them, there are 3 things that we value most. That is the data, your report or documentation, and your video and screenshot. These 3 things would be the ultimate representation of your devotion and achievements for your project. And they would make up about 75% of your 75% of your final evaluation score. So here I will have an explanation on these 3 things. So first is your data. So here you need to submit 2 kinds of data. First is the original raw data you downloaded from the internet or get from other sources. And then is your result data. That means the data you processed and analysis in SuperMap GIS products. And when submitting your result data, you always need to remember that you should submit both your data sources and workspace. If you are familiar with SuperMap GIS projects, then you should know that the workspace only record what you have done, but it would not save any data. It would not save any data sets in the workspace. All the data sets are stored in data source. So when submit your work, you should submit your data source connected to the workspace, and so that the judges can know what you have done in SuperMap GIS products. And then the judges cannot tell what you're thinking or how you design the whole project only from the data, so that we need a report or a documentation on your project that would provide us with the very basic background information of your project and your topic. And also you should draw a workflow of your work, of all your work, and also some parameter settings or methodologies and key steps in those report and documentations. And to make your presentation more vivid, you need to include videos and screenshots so that we can see all your achievements and experience when you are using SuperMap products. And also you can include your ideas or your team discussions in the videos as well. And so now let's say some recommendations on how to impress your judges. Well, as you can imagine, for each year we would receive hundreds of submissions, and from all those work submissions, how can you make your work stand out? So that means how can you impress the judges and convince them that you have done a really valuable and unique work in the GIS project. So as I believe, most of you have equipped yourself with GIS knowledge and skills. So here we want to talk about those technique details. Here we would focusing on how to present your work and how to present and design your work, and so that can make the judges feel, wow, you really done a great job. So here, the first thing is to choose a novel and creative topic, and then you should have a great presentation on your work. That means you should create visually appealing maps, and also if you are in development group, you should have a well-designed interface of your system. And then finally, you should give us a very detailed documentations so that the judges can really know what you have done and why would you use those methodologies and how did each of those methods work out. And so here, first is about novel topic. As you know, all of our judges are very experienced GIS experts. So they have seen a lot of traditional GIS applications and projects, and they're really familiar with traditional GIS applications. And so now they're looking for unconventional applications of GIS in real life, and to solve some problems that's not in traditional GIS fields. Like here we have some illustrations, like you can use GIS methods to find out the relations between poverty and education. Or as you have noticed, there are more and more electronic cars all over the world, and so that you can use GIS to find out and design proper locations for charging stations. And also there are some new applications of map as well. Here maybe you can choose use map as a storytelling tool to mapping the life or achievements or of someone you admire. And also you can use GIS tools to find out the correlation between COVID outbreak and worker income as well. So there are a lot of topics you can choose from just to look at your actual life and the real problems in your life, and then discuss with your teammates, and finally find out a really novel topic and do your work. And then it's about presentation. Sometimes we would receive some submissions, and we can find out that their methodology is well designed, but their final output is not that appealing. And so to wow your judges, you have to make a beautiful map and also have a great design on your system. Like here we have some examples. So here you can see that on the top we have a combination and draw with map and paintings, so that it's not a simple map, but it's not a simple map that presents us with geographic features, but it's also a combination of geographic features with the traditional Chinese drawing, and so that it will give us a cultural background of the geographic features. Here we want to emphasize this. And also, if you are taking part in development group, then here we have an example on how to design the interface of your system. Like here, you can see that the interface is very concise, and we can easily and the users can easily find the tools from the labels here. And finally, it's about documentation. No matter which group you choose, we always ask you to submit a report or documentation. And here, the illustration we're using is a report from application analysis group. If you are in the mapping group, your report could be shorter, but it still needs to have these 4 main parts. So the first one is the introduction and objectives. That is to give us some background information of your project, and let us know why you choose this topic and what problems you want to solve from your work. The second part is about data. As you collected your data, as you would collected collected a lot of data for your project. Here you should have a clear table about the data you used and their sources, so that means you can give them a proper citation, and we will know that, and the judges can know that you collect all the data by yourself, and that is also a way to show what you have done for the whole project. And the third part is about methodology. That means you can draw a flow work like this one, or you can have a detailed explanation on each of the tools you used and why you choose all those parameters. And finally is the explanation on your results and conclusions. Like here, this one, you could have a very detailed discussion of all the results you'll get from the analysis, and so that the judges can know your ideas and your opinions about the project, about your topic, and then from the conclusions we can know that what you have achieved from this project. And so now let's look at some excellent work from previous contests. So first, let's look at mapping group. And here, the first series of maps are very traditional maps. Like here, here are a series of semantic maps of Bangladesh, and here you can see that the authors have created semantic maps for its agriculture, and then it's about its population and its power plants and the hazards that happened in and hazards. So even though the audience might not be familiar with this country, from this series of semantic maps, they can quickly get some information about this country. And you can see that all the maps here designed are very concise and clear. You can tell the topics of each of the map directly from its title, and here it has clear legend on the phenomena and features they want to emphasize on each of these maps. And besides introduce your country, you can also use maps to focusing on a smaller area. Like this one is an atlas of a province in Serbia, and you can see that here it has the maps for it has maps for demography, economy statistics, and also natural resources. And here you can see that besides those well-designed and beautiful maps, there are also short paragraphs to give the readers more information about each of the topic. And also you can focus on a specific topic to create your map. Like here, you can create here, they also have created a map for flood evacuation route design. And here you can see that the authors have done a little analysis job, and also they have emphasized important shelters with those images in the map, so that it can give us more information as well. And here is another excellent work, that is the mapping of the level of lead in soil. And you can see that the study area is very small. Actually, it's just a small park, but the authors were very smart. They choose to use satellite images as base map, and then they created their own layers, use the lead data in soil. And also you can see that they have combined this map with diagrams. And here they also have a very clear citation about their data source and references. And even though you are focusing on a specific topic, you can still make series of maps. Like here, this one, this project, like here, this project focusing on the solutions for flood hazard in the specific city. And so here it presents us with the capability of each flood shelter in the cities, and also the proximity of each of the shelter, so that as long as you have enough data and you know how to present them, you can still create a great series of maps to demonstrate your topic. And so here I would give you more hints on the creativity of topic choice and map design. So here, as I said before, we could use map as a storytelling tool and use it to make a map biography. Like here, in this example, we can use map to tell a lifelong achievement of Dr. Yuan, who is a very respected scientist focused on agriculture research. And so here we can use series of maps to show the inspiration of his career and how he conduct his achievements and doing those researches in different locations in the country, and then how we can appreciate his achievements. And finally, we can also use map to show his further wishes and design for agriculture field. And also we can create atlas to focus on some specific and interesting topics. like here, stargazing is a very romantic and interesting activities. So here the user chooses to create atlas for stargazing in China. First, he can have a overall evaluation map for stargazing based on air quality and the amount of clouds. And then we can create a regional stargazing route map for a specific province. And finally, we can use maps to show the cultural history of stargazing in the country as well. And so we hope you can learn from those interesting examples and find more inspiration on your project topic. And then let's move to application analysis group. So here, in this group, we emphasize on how you have designed your project and complete all your work. So here we can see that. And so here we could have a further look into the work of our winners from previous contest. Here we can see that for this project focusing on suitability analysis of brick cleans, they also have draw a very concise but clear methodology, clear graph for their methodology. And then for each of their steps, they have a more specific information explanation and the flow work for the evaluation process. And they also include the tables in their report to explain their evaluation criteria and all the analysis they have conducted. And also to finally present their work, they have included screenshots for each of their steps in SuperMap products and how they set all the parameters. And so that finally to combine the result for each of those steps together and to produce the final stability map. And here is another excellent work from previous contest. So this work, you can see that is a geospatial analysis and solution for COVID-19. And you can see that on the left, the workflow for the whole project is well drawn and it's very clear. And then for each of the steps, the authors have created maps to demonstrate the highlights of each of the steps, and they also include some explanations for those maps in the report. And so this is the final output for their 2D analysis. And they also have conducted some 3D analysis to further look into the results they have got. And then here, our final example is our final example. Here you can see that it's a spatial-temporal analysis and they also have created a series of demographs in their reports, and then analysis them combined with spatial analysis result. And also they have drawn and created very beautiful maps in their report. So here you can find out that although for application analysis, in application analysis group, not only do you need to demonstrate the whole project design and the workflow of your work, but also to give a good impression to the judges you have to create, you can also create beautiful maps to emphasize what you have got from those analyses. And also here, we would encourage you to find varied analysis methods when taking part in application analysis group. So here you can conduct spatial and temporal analysis. Like here, we can see from these illustrations, we can combine our map result with those diagram analysis of for temporal analysis. And then like this one, like in this example, we're planning tourism sites in mountain area. So here we can first conduct 2D analysis at a larger scale, and then when we move into smaller scale, we can conduct 3D analysis as well, so that we can get a result with better visualization, effects. And then let's move to development group. So here, here's one thing we need to be clear, that for development group, you need to submit the complete project, the complete coding project of your work to us. And then you need to make sure that the judges can deploy your system in the judges' computers. And so that you need to give the judges a very detailed installation guidance of your system. And then in case there's something wrong with your system, in case there's something wrong with your application or system, you should also draw a structure like this to show us how you have designed the system. And here, let's see how the winner system looks like. So here, it is a utility management system for housing. And you can see that here, the main part is a map, and we can see all those housing features and utilities here. And on the left, we have all the tools designed for the utility management. And if we click on each of those features or click on those tools, so here we would have a very clear interface on how to use each of those tools. And the judges can also deploy this system on their own computer. So that's what you need to pay attention to if you want to create your own system. And also, here is another winner system. That is a Corona web application. And here you can see that the interface of this application is very beautiful and concise. And once we click on those two buttons, then it would present us the analysis result as well. And then if we are very skilled in programming, then you can try to create a system that can be used in multiple ends. That is to say, you can create one system, but that system can be used both on your computer and also as apps on mobile phones. Like this one is a turkey forest management system, and we can see all the detailed information from the computer applications, and also they also have provide us with an application, and it can be easily used on our computer, on our mobile phones as well. And so here's one more hint on here's one more hint for those who participate in development group. That is to make your code concise and readable. So here, when you are designing your project, it's okay if you want to use frames like view or angular, just to make sure that you have a well-designed structure of the whole project. And also, when you are writing your codings, it should be neat, and also you should include some meaningful comments for the judges, so that if your system are not working, they can still know what you are doing from your coding and your comments. And finally, it's about paper group. So here, paper group actually is more complicated and has a really high requirement for how it was written and what topics it is looking about, and what topics it is focusing on. So here, first you should have designed your research based on an important topic, and then have a well designed for the whole research. And then for most of the part is about how to write your paper and following all the basic norms for academic research. And if your paper have published it, then you can earn a little more. Then you can earn more scores. And just to remember all those judging criteria, and then you can work on the papers. Here we want to give you some examples for the paper group, because all of you can search online and find great papers and learn from those examples as well. Just to remember, when participate in this contest, you should write a paper and complete all the GIS work in that paper using SuperMap GIS products. And now, finally, I would give you some resources you can use for when taking part in this contest. So first is about the software. Here, I believe most of you have known that you should use SuperMap products that 10i version or higher. And here you can go to our official website to download the series of products. And if you don't have license, you can go to SuperMap Online to apply it, or you can contact our technical support and local sales to get the license. And so here, if you don't have, if you are still collecting data, here we have provide you some links for data collection, and you can also find open source data by yourself from national or your local organizations as well. And just to remember that, have a give proper citations and acknowledgement of the data source. And if you think there's more to learn so that you can better prepare yourself for this contest, then you can follow us on YouTube and to find more learning resources. Here in our YouTube channel, you can search for SuperMap GIS contest training or SuperMap training camp to find our online courses about how to use SuperMap GIS products and how to apply those skills when completing your work. And finally, it's about how to submit your work. And if you have any technical problems, you can just go to the official website for SuperMap GIS contest, and then scroll down. You can find here our submission requirements, and just to put all your work into a zip file package, and then send them by emails to our technical supporters, And if you have any questions, you can also ask, and you can also reach out for help from those email addresses. Just remember, find the correct technical support based on your country and region. And that's all for today's instruction. Thank you, everyone.